el libro se clasifica el subjuntivo en adjective clauses, pero no me gusta porque el libro usa más gramática para describir gramática. Entonces no tiene sentido, no tiene contexto. Además, este uso del subjuntivo que vamos a ver hoy es subjunctive with the unknown or the non-existent. So when the book uses the term adjective clauses, these are phrases that indicate that something is unknown or possibly doesn't exist. So le estoy dando contexto. Siempre necesitamos un contexto. Y el contexto que aplico a esta presentación es como house hunters. ¿Conocen el programa House Hunters, right? Or anybody who has any experience with real estate is going to be familiar with what I'm talking about in house hunters or just in real estate in general. The buyer comes to the agent with a budget, right? And in their first meeting, they talk about their budget, but mainly what they're looking for, what they want, right? And as the agent on House Hunters or in real life, you listen to your buyer, your client, and you're like, I know all those things are desirable, but I don't know if they exist within your budget, right? All of that would be in the subjunctive, and we're going to see why here in a second, because when you want, which falls under the W in weirdo, and the subjunctive acronym, wishes, wants, needs, desire, even if you're looking for something, yes, we'll use a subjunctive. However, we don't know if it exists, and that's an overlap, another use of the subjunctive. Sí.
No siento, I should have coffee on my...
¿Quieres café? Café en tu papel. Tengo otras copias para ti. Una copia limpia.
Can I get
Oh, sí, toalla. Sí, no pasa nada. They're done. Okay. So, mi estudiante necesita un apartamento nuevo. We don't have any subjunctive here because we don't have the connector K. We only have one verb, so just one subject. But this is our context. Primero, okay? Bear with me, it's going to be a little complicated, but when we break it down, it'll make perfect sense. ¿Conocen ustedes algún apartamento que esté cerca del campus? Let's figure out what this is saying. What is conocen ustedes algún apartamento? What am I asking you here? Conocen es el verbo que significa, do you all know of? Are you familiar with, right? Conocer, familiarity, or the verb to know. However, here, we're using it in the form of a question. So we're asking, do you know? And by the fact, or the simple fact, that this is a question, do you know, indicates that it's unknown. That's why I'm asking you. And when it's unknown, we're using el subjuntivo. Does that make sense? Esté, instead of estar, esté cerca del campus. So I'm asking you, do you all know of an apartment that's close to campus, right? Like we're talking about in terms of availability. So we use the subjunctive here in this question because it's unknown. That's why I'm asking the question. Does that make sense? Be careful. On the superside, if you see the verb conocer, connected with K in the form of a question, your verb's going to be in the subjunctive, okay? Which is why it's listed on your paper right here, conoce. But it could be conoces or conocen. Doesn't matter what the conjugation is. If it's conocer in the form of a question with K, we'll use the subjunctive. Because conocer means what? To know or be familiar with. And these are all uses of the subjunctive with the unknown, okay? However, notice the response. When we say, sí conocemos, what happened to our verb? Está.
Es indicativo.
Indicativo. ¿Por qué?
No, duro.
Right, maybe an excellent thing. There's no doubt. Because why? When we say sí conocemos un apartamento, we're saying, yes, we do know of an apartment. Maybe you know that one that's available for rent right now. And because you know of this one apartment, un apartamento, that's available for, rent near campus, you use the indicative. Why? Because it exists. And I'm glad you used judo because it's kind of like doubt and certainty. You doubt, you're unknown, it's unsure, subjunctive. It exists, it's fact, it's truth, indicative. Pregunta? Sí.
See, what happens if you have like, so someone's like, oh, do you know of this? And you're like, oh, yeah, but it might not be in your budget.
Right.
What is that? What would that mean?
Well, but not that. It's just going to all stay in the indicative.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're not connecting it with K and it's not influencing the dependent clause. Yeah. That would all still be in the indicative. But if it doesn't exist, no conocemos ningún apartamento que esté. So our verbs esté is in the indicative of the subjunctive here. Esté cerca del campus. With this response, we're saying no. So what happens to our verb? Esté is what? Subjunctive or indicative? Subjunctive, because why? No conocemos, right? It doesn't exist, or we don't know. Does that make sense? Unknown, non-existent, subjunctive. Okay? But if it exists, indicative. Otro ejemplo. Okay. Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento. Before I go any further, what am I saying here? My student, ¿cómo se dice quiere? Wants. Falls under the W in weirdo for phrases that introduce a subjunctive, right? Quiere, wants. But look carefully. This is going to be a very tiny little detail that's going to affect the accuracy of your answer on the supersite or ultimately the test. Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento. Un apartamento is saying what? My student wants, yeah, an apartment. Un is a or an. Apartment, meaning like any apartment that, in this case, has a dishwasher. No? Tenga, subjuntivo. So this is the part in house centers at the beginning or in your conversation as a real estate agent and the buyer where they come in and list all of their wants, right? Un apartamento or una casa. And when you have, that beginning part of house centers or when you're having that initial conversation with your agent, you're not thinking of anything specific in mind. You're just listing everything you want in a apartment. Does that make sense? Un apartamento. Because we're going to see multiple examples with un or una or unos and unas, and they'll be used with the subjunctive. But stay tuned because it'll change to the indicative with one slight altering of the article. Sam, pregunta? No? Okay. Otro. So, mi estudiante quiere un apartamento que tenga lavadora y secadora. So what about this information that comes before the K affects our verb tener in the subjunctive? Why is tener in the subjunctive? Explain to me.
My student wants an apartment that.
So why does my student wants an apartment that result in the subjunctive? We've got K. What else?
You don't know if the
You've got want, and we're using un apartamento. Any apartment, a apartment, okay?
Not as specific.
Not as specific, okay?
Specific.
Not that apartment that we just looked at. This is the initial conversation. ¿Entienden? This isn't after the fact. This isn't after you've gone house hunting. This is when you're meeting with your agent, listing all the things that you want in a apartment, okay? Ejemplo. Y este es el ejemplo que van a copiar en sus papeles. Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento que esté, aquí se copia, ¿no? Esté cerca del campus. ¿Por qué es este? So why is this subjunctive? What are we still saying? Yeah, un apartamento, quiere, no? Okay. Now, we've gone house hunting, and I'm sitting with my buyer, and we're going through all the apartments we just saw, and we're trying to narrow down which one the student wants, right? For the client. Mi estudiante quiere el apartamento que tiene balcón. What happened here? We're still expressing want, which falls under the W in weirdo. And the phrases from last chapter that introduced the subjunctive. We still have want, but are we using the subjunctive here? No, because why? We're using want with L. And what does L even mean? Why is that tiny little article changing everything?
Because you want that specific apartment.
Right, because now we're referencing a specific apartment. See, L means what? Not an apartment. We're saying the apartment. And we can't remember the name of the apartment building or, you know, whatever the name. If you watch Fixer Upper, they always like name the different properties they look at. Maybe you can't remember the name, but you're saying, oh, no, the one with the balcony. That's the one that I want. That's the apartment that I want. Entienden? Yeah, specific. What's that?
I said real life Spanish.
Yeah, it is real life Spanish because imagine you're in Buenos Aires and you know you just had this long like 10-hour flight. You landed in Buenos Aires, you went to your hotel, you dropped off your luggage, took a quick shower, and then you're like, let's go explore. So you're out and about all day long. Maybe you had some vino or whatever because it's so cheap and delicious down there. And it's getting late, you're like, we're ready to go back to the hotel, and you're like, ¿Cómo se llama? Nuestro hotel. You can't remember the name of it, but you hop in your Uber, and you're like, we want to go back to the hotel that has the fountain or something. You can't remember the name of it, but it's the hotel, the one with the fountain. And because we're using the, el hotel, necesitamos regresar al hotel que tiene la fuente. You're going to use the indicative because it exists. Remember, we use the subjunctive with the non-existent or the unknown, but your hotel exists, you just can't remember the name of it, so you say the hotel that has the fountain. El hotel que tiene la fuente. ¿Entienden? It's like such a nuance, so close. And it's important to note that when we use the subjunctive with the unknown or non-existent with just these verbs, so be careful. Don't apply what I'm saying between el and un to every single verb you're going to encounter on the supersite. Just with these three verbs. Busca un or una, or quiere un or una, or unos, or necesita unos. ¿Cómo se dice quiere? We just talked about this one. Want. Like, mi estudiante quiere un apartamento, apartment. Or necesito unas vacaciones que estén en el Caribe. Necesita, ¿cómo se dice? Needs, right? Wants, needs. Kind of the same thing. But, ¿cómo se dice busca? Busca. Look for. Right. We're looking for the hotel that has a fountain. Buscamos el hotel que tiene la fuente. But if we're looking for a hotel, you know, you're talking to your travel agent, or you're looking for a house in a good neighborhood, or you're looking for a, professor on campus that cancels class frequently, or that doesn't have final exams, or doesn't ever assign homework. Buscamos a un profesor que no tenga clases los viernes, or no tenga exámenes finales. We don't know if that professor exists. And so we're going to use a subjunctive. ¿Entienden? So with un or any form of un, we would use a subjunctive with these three verbs. What about, we talked about conoce in the form of a question. What does that mean again? Do you know? Obviously it's unknown, so it's subjunctive. And when you respond, no conoce a nadie, what is that saying? If the question is, do you know? And the answer is, no. No conoce a nadie. I don't know it. That means it's non-existent, subjunctive. Okay? Sam?
What about if you use like no say?
No say, well,
No say?
no. For no sé, that would fall under no estoy seguro. Saber and conocer, quick review. Conocer is like familiarity, which is why it's presented with this use of the subjunctive. But saying no sé, it's like saying no estoy seguro, and you would also use a subjunctive because that would be more like doubt. So it's definitely related. There's just a tiny little distinction between those verbs. What about I? I in the form of a question. Hay un profesor en College Charleston que no tenga exámenes finales. Hay estudiantes en College Charleston que sean de Bolivia. Hay clases en College Charleston que sean muy fáciles. Are there? Muy bien, Kobe. And when you're asking, is there, are there, that's unknown. So you would use the subjunctive, okay? If there are, if you're like, sí, hay muchos estudiantes en College of Charleston que son del Caribe. Or, sí, hay un profesor en College of Charleston que no tiene clases los viernes. Even if you say, hay un profesor, it means that there is and it exists. And so you use the indicative, because it exists. But if it doesn't exist, no hay nadie que sea de Bolivia. O no hay ningún profesor que no tenga exámenes finales. That means it doesn't exist, and so we use the subjunctive, okay? So you have to really weigh exists or non-exists, known or unknown. ¿Entienden? Porque mira, when we use these three verbs, only these three verbs, busca, quiere, necesita, with el apartamento, or el hotel, or los profesores, siempre lleva indicativo, because it is known and it exists. Only with these verbs. So let's practice. Practiquemos, okay? Indicativo or subjuntivo. Tiene or tenga. Quiero un apartamento. Tenga. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué es tenga?
Because quiero.
Quiero y un. What's it saying? I want an apartment. I'm not referring to any specific apartment that I've seen yet. It's just in general. ¿Entienden? This is in the context of the real estate scenario. This is the initial conversation you have with your agent. Una grande. No conozco a nadie. No conozco a ninguna persona que sabe or sepa. Which one's with the unknown? Is this expressing non-existent? Non-existence? Unknown? Yeah. This is saying doesn't exist. I don't know a single person. So sepa, because subjunctive is with the unknown or the non-existent, and this is non-existent, so sepa. Okay? For ejemplo, busco. ¿Cómo se dice busco? Look for. Ayuda or ayude? I'm looking for what? ¿Cómo se dice alguien? Anyone.
So it's not specific. It's supposed to be ayude.
Right, we're saying, well, you're going to use ayude because we're looking for anyone. I'm looking for anyone that can help me, okay? When you say that, if you're saying you're looking for Javier, or busco a Wilfitz, or busco a Megan, I'm referencing specific people that exist, but like you said, Sophia, because it's general, you don't know if there's anyone there. You walk into the foreign language tutoring lab, you're like, busco a alguien que me ayude con la tarea. They might be like, sorry, all the tutors are busy, non-existent, okay? Subjective. Otro flow. Muy bien, chicos. ¿Por qué? El banco. No? Y necesito. So this is saying what? I need to what?
I need to go to the bank.
Go to the bank, right? That's on the corner. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm in a foreign country, and this is the only bank that my credit card will let me withdraw cash from. I need to go to that bank. Specific bank, el banco, indicativo está. Okay? Muy bien, perfecto. Más inteligente que mi grupo a las 9. Mi grupo a las 9 todos respondieron sea. But why is this S? Un hermano? But tengo un hermano saying what? I have a close brother. Does that person exist? Absolutely, which is why you use S. Because remember, if you have un with these verbs, busca, quiere, necesita, we use the subjunctive. Only with these verbs, okay? Careful with that. On the supersite and the test, indicative with tengo because it exists. Okay, no.